Okay guys, so this is part 2 of today's lesson. We're gathering evidence now that we understand the prompt. So I would really recommend accessing this rhetorical strategies and appeals document that you worked on and submitted. It was due yesterday, so I haven't yet graded these ones. However, this is going to be the primary source that you'll use for selecting your evidence. See, everything we've done has essentially been drafting and collecting thoughts and gathering evidence in order to prepare us for this rhetorical analysis. So a note about rhetorical analysis. Rhetorical analysis, the question or the prompt is always the same. It's how does the author or speaker, in most cases in AP, only because it's mostly nonfiction. So how does the speaker, in this case we have a speaker because we have a nonfiction text, communicate his or her purpose? Okay? So you first have to identify the purpose and then identify the strategies that they use and explain how he or she, in this case he, utilizes or employs those strategies in order to communicate his purpose. So you've already done that. You've already found the devices. You are going to use devices specifically instead of appeals. You'll use the appeals in your analysis. The devices are what you're focusing on. So like my example here, I have a metaphor, I have short sentences, and these I talked about last week. You have your own. And just like for this exercise, I'm not allowing you to use these two examples in your essay, all right? Because I need you to do the thinking on your own. So these two are off the table. The good news is there's several pages of content there, really heavy content with lots of rhetorical strategies and devices. So you won't be for a lack of devices. Can you use metaphor? Sure, you just can't use this one. Can you use short sentences? Sure, you just can't use these. All right, so this is where I would find your devices. Additionally, look at your Romeo and Juliet notes. You were looking specifically at devices there. When I was teaching those few scenes that I had the opportunity to teach, we talked about diction, right? We talked about word choices. We talked about syntax, rather. We talked about short sentences. Those are all examples of rhetorical devices. Anything that you would call a figurative language, a literary device like figurative language would be an example of a rhetorical device too. Things like symbolism and imagery and even foreshadowing I've seen. Those are all things that we can call rhetorical devices. All right, so don't think too hard when you're thinking about rhetorical devices. It's nothing new. It's something that you've known for a long time. We're just using them to analyze the effectiveness of a speech, or a letter in this case. Okay, so this is where you're going to find your evidence. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to email me. All right, have a good rest of your Monday.